how much money do LPNs make? If you're interested in finding out, make sure you stay tuned. What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are already part of the family, for those of you who are new, welcome to the gang. My name is Kiara Selena, and this is my channel, Nursing with Ki, where I make a whole bunch of nursing related videos, sharing tips and tricks that I've learned along my nursing journey to help you guys have the smoothest nursing journey. So if you are about to start your nursing journey or you just started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell down below so you won't miss another video from me again. So in one of my last videos where I was speaking about whether or not I regret becoming an LPN, be sure to check that video out. I'll leave it in the description down below. So go check that out once you're done watching this video. But I asked you guys if you guys wanted me to share how much I make as an LPN, and I got so many comments from people asking me how much I make. So that's what this video is going to be about today. So right here I have my handy dandy notebook where I took a bunch of notes, and we are going to be going over how much LPNs or RPNs make here in Canada in all 10 provinces and 3 territories. And at the end of the video, I'm going to be sharing my personal salary as a new grad pending licensed nurse. So if you're interested in finding that out, make sure you stick around till the end of the video. But without further ado, let's get into the video. How much do LPNs make? So in the beautiful French province of Quebec, which actually happens to be where I live, we make between $21 to $28 as LPNs hourly. Now, the 28 is a bit high. That's probably for nurses who are higher in their echelons, because we have a bunch of different echelons. I think for LPNs, it's 12. So that's probably for the nurses who are, higher up there in their echelons, who've been practicing for a long time. But on average, LPNs usually over here make between $21 and $28 if, like I said, if you're very experienced, and that amounts up to a starting salary of about $40,000 a year, all the way up to about $65,000 to $68,000 if you do overtime. Now, in the beautiful province of Ontario, we have a starting salary of about $24.17, all the way up to a salary of $30 an hour. Once again, probably for people who are a little bit higher up in the echelon. Now, the salary in Ontario is a little bit higher, but bear in mind that the cost of living in Ontario is also higher, which is why they get paid more. So $24.17 all the way up to about $30, amounting to a salary, an average salary of between $45,000 a year, all the way up to about $68,000 a year. Now, in the beautiful mountains of Alberta, we have a starting salary of about $20.64, going all the way up to $32 an hour. Now, $20.64 is a little bit low for Alberta because the cost of living is actually quite high. I think if you are in the low 20s for LPN, it's probably because they are working in private facilities or small, maybe residences for the elderly. I could see why LPNs might fall in the lower 20 category if that's their situation. But if you're working in acute care, on average, your salary should start at around $25.64 in Alberta, all the way up to $32 and maybe even more depending on your echelon, which amounts to a starting yearly salary of about $40,000, going all the way up to $68,000. I believe that's the same thing as Ontario. Now, in the beautiful British Columbia, where there's barely any snow, I wish, the average salary is starting around $27.50, and it can go all the way up to $35 an hour for licensed practical nurses, which amounts to $48,000 starting a year, all the way up to $72,000 a year. So British Columbia, again, is one of the most expensive places. It's very, very expensive. We actually call it the London of Canada. I've heard that before because London, England is extremely expensive, and everything is imported over there because I don't know, for some reason, you guys are not growing stuff. Please let me know. If you're from BC, let me know what's going on in BC, because I don't know why it's so expensive over there. But yeah, LPNs are making great money. So if you're an LPN and you're still living at home, good for you. Next, we have Manitoba with a starting salary of about $28.52. I guess that's the California of Canada, and I think I'm gonna have to take a little trip to Manitoba because $28 as a starting salary for a new nurse, that is not bad at all. And this amounts to a total of about $54,722 a year, all the way up to about $78,000. For an LPN, $78,000 is some pretty good money. So I think I'm gonna keep Manitoba in mind. Next, we have New Brunswick. New Brunswick with a starting salary in the lows of $21.93 an hour, very similar to Quebec, all the way up to about $25 an hour, which amounts to about $40,000, all the way up to about $55,000. So that's actually quite low, because in Quebec it goes all the way up to a high of 65, whereas New Brunswick maxes out pretty much around 55, maybe 60 if you do overtime. Next, we have Newfoundland and Labrador, where they start at a salary of about $25.84 hourly, which is pretty good, all the way up to a max of around $32. Obviously, there's little changes, there's little exceptions here and there. You may make a little less, a little bit more. These aren't, spot on, guys, but this is the average for, everywhere that I've mentioned. So for Newfoundland and Labrador, starting salary of $25.84 all the way up to around $32 an hour for a licensed practical nurse. And that amounts to around $45,000 a year, all the way up to about $64,000 a year, which is still pretty good. Now we have Nova Scotia. In Nova Scotia, they are making around $25.36. Again, this is a pretty high starting salary, pretty good, all the way up to about $33 an hour, amounting to $45,000, a low of $45,000 yearly, going all the way up to $65,000 a year. So looking at everything that I've mentioned so far, we could tell that the salaries are they're pretty similar to each other. We have some exceptions. British Columbia is really up there, and Manitoba as well. But for the rest of it, everything is pretty standard so far. And for the last province, Prince Edward Island, we have a starting salary of about $24.72 an hour, going all the way up to around $30 an hour, which amounts up to a yearly salary of about $43,000 a year, all the way up to $60,000 a year. So that is it for the 10 provinces. Now let's get into the 3 territories. Now, for the first territory, we have Nunavut, where the starting salary for LPNs is about $25 an hour, all the way up to $30 an hour, which amounts up to around $45,000 a year, all the way up to around $62,000 a year. For those of you who are in Canada or who are outside of Canada, I just want you guys to know that they are paying LPNs and RNs and all types of nurses so much money. This is for the LPNs that live in Nunavut, but for people who live outside of Nunavut, they are paying nurses so much money to go up there, because nobody really wants to live up there. That's the North, right? That's the North Pole where Santa Claus is at. Nobody lives there. I think there's a population of about 7,000 people, so they are paying nurses crazy amounts of money. I have actually met a nurse who made I think $50,000 in 8 months or something for going over there. She was a registered nurse, however, but $50,000 for 7-8 months is a lot. And mind you, they're paying for your food, they're paying for your flight, and they're paying for your accommodation. So check that out. If you guys are down to fly all the way up to the North Pole and go help people out there, there's huge problems with alcohol and drugs, and so they need nurses a lot. So if you're down to go, make sure you check that out. They are paying nurses bank to go up there. Next, we have another one that I just might consider after Manitoba. We have Northwest Territories, starting with a salary of $40 an hour for licensed practical nurses. $40 an hour, guys. That is crazy. That is crazy. If you guys live in Northwest Territories, please leave a comment down below and let me know if this is real, because this kind of sounds like extreme to me. But you know what? This is Canada. I wouldn't be surprised. So Northwest Territories, $40 an hour, amounting to around $80,000 a year for licensed practical nurses. So if licensed practical nurses are making this kind of money in NWT, I want to know what the hell ADN nurses are making. If there are ADN nurses up there, I don't believe so. I think there's, like I said, there's only one province in Canada, or two maybe, that have ADN nurses. So if LPNs are making $80,000 a year in Northwest Territories, I want to know what BSNs and FNPs and nurse anesthesiasts are making, okay? And lastly, we have Yukon with a starting salary of about $29.97, which amounts up to $60,000 all the way up to $75,000 a year, which once again is pretty good money. So on average, we could see that LPNs are really making between $40,000 and $60,000. It can go a little bit higher depending on where you live, but between $40,000 and $60,000 a year in Canada, which isn't that bad, honestly. And $40,000 is really if you do the bare minimum. That's really if you do your bare minimum. If you do 36 hours a week, that'll amount to your $40,000 or your $45,000 a year, depending on where you live. But remember that there are always opportunities to do overtime. There's always opportunities to do doubles. So it should be, if you're really willing to grind and put in that work, you should be able to easily meet that $65,000 a year mark if you're willing to put in a little back work and a little bit of sweat for it. Now for the juicy question, how much is Kiara making? We want to know how much Kiara is making. Everybody's asking that question, and you guys might actually be a little bit disappointed by my answer, because for those of you who checked out my CNA video, if you haven't checked it out, go see that. I show all the facts, all the receipts, everything is there. But I was making around $20 an hour as a CNA. Now I am a pending licensed practical nurse, right? The L isn't in my LPN yet because I am not yet licensed. I have not yet written the NCLEX or the board exam for nurses yet. I'm still waiting to write that exam, which will be offered in the next few months to come. So I'm working as a pending licensed nurse, which is why I'm making a little less than I would be making as a LPN where I work. But right now, I am making around $22.50 as a pending licensed nurse, and it could actually go up to $23.50 if I work nights, which is mainly what I do what I've been doing lately. I've mainly been working nights, so I'm making around $23.50 as a pending licensed nurse. And once I do get my license, it'll probably go up to about $25.50, an extra $2. So that is how much the kid is making. I'm not a millionaire, okay guys? I'm not about to build a mansion or anything like that. It is good money. I am getting paid well, but when you compare how much I was making as a CNA to how much I'm making as an LPN, a $3.50 jump is not too bad, but hey, it's not the biggest difference in the world. But anyway, you guys wanted to know, you asked, so that's my answer. Anyways, guys, that is it for today's video. I know that most of my viewers are Americans, but I am not American. I do not live in America, so I cannot speak about America. I presented what I know, the information from where I live. So that is that. If you were curious, I still hope you like this video, and I hope to see you in my next video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And like I said in the beginning, turn on your notification bell so you will not miss another video from me again. I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye.